morning, Newport. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on up, and for the first time, we're officially broadcasting in our new studio space. You may notice a few small differences, like the succulents on my desk planter died, and this stack of papers right here, this is the Museum House petition. Never forget. But the best part about our new space, we have a live studio audience. Look at them, folks. A real live audience right here. You can't see them, but you can hear them. Thank you. Feel free to laugh and applaud throughout the show. And it's not just any audience tonight. We have the people who helped make this show possible. We thank you all for your support. Without all of you, none of this would be here. We do have a rather serious topic for tonight's show, but first, there's one throwback agenda item we would love for you to see. At the council meeting on May 8th, we learned that the city bought a fire truck that was too tall to fit in the Mariners fire station garage. So what did they do? They remodeled the fire station.
Today we opened up this fire station. We bought a new fire truck, and unfortunately, new fire trucks are a little taller. And she wouldn't fit in. She was about 4 inches too tall. And now the fire truck has a real home to live in.
It cost us just $900,000 for the new fire station, begging the question, did we need the new fire truck that badly? Someone ought to put this in an Arrested Development episode. Speaking of Arrested Development, Balboa Island hosted some rather offbeat action recently. A protest broke out at Councilman Scott Piotr's campaign financing party where activists revolted against comments made in a letter that compared prominent members of our community to drooling dogs. The author of the letter was none other than Bob McCaffrey, who was hosting the party at his Balboa Island home. Thus, these protesters.
We're just here to show that we believe that women are equal to men and we should not be degraded by Bob McCaffrey and by Scott Piotr. We are not drooling dogs.
We can ask, but you just won't give it.
Right. It's a very degrading thing to call women.
Don't you think there's any call for that kind of language in politics? Even if we disagree, we should be respectful of each other.
Does anyone want any?
Why don't you set an example?
Anyone want a glass of wine?
No, thank you.
And if that wasn't uncomfortable enough, Scott Piotr showed up right at the height of the protest.
We want to elevate the political conversation in this country.
Oh, here comes Scott.
That's why we're here today.
Oh, God.
Here comes Scott. Appreciate Mr. McCaffrey's comments and you decided to endorse them instead. So we're here to ask you to repudiate them. No.
After this encounter, some of the attendees left the party. Our director, Riley Hayes, was there capturing the footage. He described it as very uncomfortable. We asked Scott to come and speak on the show, but he said, no thank you. Instead, our guest this morning will be one of the ladies called a drooling dog in the letter, Lynn Swain, one of Joy Brenner's campaign managers. But before we ask her about this, I want to read to you what the letter says. Psychiatrist Susan Skinner slobbers all over herself on Nextdoor. Lynn Kukovich Swain spits up all over social media. And candidate Joy Brenner becomes a Burmese mountain dog with a dish towel draped around her drooling neck. Draped around her neck, collecting drool. He didn't even leave out Jeff Herdman. Councilman Jeff Herdman starts dribbling all over himself, then calls Curry to ask for permission to stop. Apparently, Bob McCaffrey's letter was meant to be a metaphor for how former Mayor Keith Curry exerts his control over others like Pavlov ringing a bell. It really turned out to be a blatant Freudian slip, broadcasting how McCaffrey truly feels about these three outstanding women that fight to protect our city. He doesn't see them as being their own individual people. Susan Skinner had this to say.
You know, you don't apologize for other people.
Yes, you do.
Because
you're endorsed by him. He's here as a fundraiser raising money for you. I mean, and we asked you previously to disassociate yourself from Mr. McCaffrey and not have the fundraiser here. And here you are. I mean, that's an endorsement of his language.
I do find it interesting that you guys don't answer the underlying question. This is a terrible example that they used to express
Which was
that Mr. Curry writes your lines, and they all do the same thing. That's what he was saying.
I do not have Mr. Curry write my lines. I write my own. I'm an educated woman.
If you guys don't mind moving on, I'd appreciate it.
I am a professional woman. I'm a musician, a mother, an activist, and not a drooling dog.
Thank you, Susan Skinner, for fighting back against these downright dirty tactics and showing us all that there's no place for that here in Newport. For your bravery, we here at Good Morning Newport have something we want to give to you, an award. Our first ever Good Morning Newport Citizen Watchdog Award. Since it's a gray Newport morning and we're drinking Java, we put it on a coffee mug. Susan, come on down. Let's give it up for Dr. Susan Skinner, everybody. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you very much, or should I say,
No pun intended with the watchdog. It's just... And now, without further ado, one of Joy Brenner's campaign managers and an active Newport citizen herself, Lynn Swain, sitting down with our director, Riley Hayes. Take it away, Riley.
Thank you, Alex. I'm here with Lynn Swain. Thanks for joining us, Lynn.
You're welcome.
So tell us, how did you feel when you first read Bob McCaffrey's letter describing you as a drooling dog?
I was at home having my morning coffee and just kind of chuckled to myself. I didn't realize that it was going to have the reaction by all the people. My texts were coming in, my phone was ringing, and to me it's just classic Bob McCaffrey. You have to consider the source. Bob McCaffrey is very biased against women, and Bob McCaffrey fights very, very dirty. So I think that it hurt our opponent's campaign by Bob endorsing him, and then our opponent having a fundraiser that was not well attended by many because of Bob's comments. Our campaign, we're running a grassroots, very clean-cut campaign with volunteers all over the city, and I was just trying to stay above the dirt on that.
Now, Piotr was asked to comment on why he was still having a fundraising party at Bob McCaffrey's.
Yes, he was. He was asked many times, and he said, I can't, as nobody can, control Bob McCaffrey. Bob McCaffrey says what he wants. And they said, well, are you still going to have your fundraiser at his home after his disregard for women? And Scott absolutely stated yes, and our mayor was there as well in attendance.
What do you think that says about their campaign? Could they maybe be desperate for funding so much that they have to keep ties with Bob McCaffrey?
I think that's true. I hate to speculate on something like that, but I know most of Scott's donations come from big developers, big money. Andrew Getz, a felon convicted of 13 counts of forgery, is having a fundraiser for him. Our money in our campaign, you can look at our disclosure statement, all comes from individuals, people within the city that really appreciate Joy's longevity within our city. We have 9 former mayors endorsing and supporting us. We have 8 Citizens of the Year. It's a grassroots, honest campaign, and we've tried to stay very above board, but we have a feeling with some of Scott's comments that the dirt is going to start coming this week, and you'll see all sorts of mailers and all of that, because that's all Scott has. I think he's going to fight dirty and claim that he's the best Republican for the race.
But what people should know is Joy's history with the city.
Yes.
What is that?
Joy has lived in Corona Del Mar and Newport Beach for over 57 years. She attended Newport Harbor, which I think you did as well.
Alumni.
She also attended Corona Del Mar High School. She's got grandchildren attending both schools on each side of the bay. And she's part of the Corona Del Mar Chamber of Commerce, part of Oasis. She's very, very involved within our community, and I think that speaks volumes.
Yeah, when I drive around the city, everywhere I go, I see Joy for Newport
Yes.
signs.
Good.
They
That
are
means
everywhere.
We're doing our job then.
I almost think it's safe to say there's more joy signs than any other candidate.
Well, our other three incumbents paid a company to go out all over the city and put up their signs. So I have been seeing those, but I could attest to the truth that all of ours are put up by volunteers.
So extremely involved with the community.
Yes.
Grassroots donations from the citizens,
Yes.
not big time developers or other people with motives.
Yes.
And she's been going door to door herself with her volunteers
Yes, we
to
have.
interact with the community.
Yes, we have.
So you guys have done everything you possibly can to
We
engage
can.
the community and show them what you're about
Without getting dirty.
without getting dirty.
Yes.
And that seems to be rare these days.
It does. It does.
Any final words you have about this upcoming election and what you want the public to know before they vote?
I would be hopeful that everybody will give Joy Brenner running against Scott Piotr in District 6 their votes. Her integrity, her transparency speaks for itself. Thank you for having me on your show.
Thanks for being on.
All right.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Back to you, Alex.
Thank you, Lynn, and thank you, Riley. Men, it's important that we be allies to women and let the Bob McCaffreys of the world know that that shit ain't cool. A big special thanks again to our live studio audience. Not only you guys out here having a fun time with us, but you've been down with the cause since day one. And hold on, the tip line's ringing. Hello, good morning, Newport tip line. Will O'Neill is spending his free time making petty posts about our show on social media. No, we know. No, we're cool with it. It just doesn't seem like a very good use of time. Okay, all right, well, thank you very much. For our live audience, for our crew, and for my director, Riley Hayes, this is Alex Crawford saying, from the Back Bay to the Wedge, from Newport Coast to the River Jetties, good morning, Newport.
And that's a cut.